Please leave a message after the beep.
Yeah.
Alright. Hi guys.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome back. Welcome to episode 6 of After the Beep. This is the first time in a while that we don't have like a giant overarching theme to the episode. But we're taking it back a little, given that last episode was so
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
a big difference.
Here's something that I realized. Oh, wait.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry, everyone.
It's okay.
Apologies.
Cheers. Every time.
So, this episode is about girlhood and being a woman and being a girl and our experiences and
just like everything that has to do with that.
In the media, like I think the buzzword girlhood is like really big right now.
I agree.
But
I agree heavily.
Based off of what Anna said about us not having a theme today, because we've had themes, it's been so easy to like be set in stone of like what we're wearing.
Doing. Oh yeah.
And now it's like our girlhood episode, and it took my bedroom was spotless when Anna came over before we left the shoot, and when we left, it's destroyed.
And you know what? That is girlhood.
That is girlhood. And
that is girlhood. My point. That exactly is what that is. I feel like for literally like, especially with last episode, we were like planning what we were gonna wear, or we've just had like some sort, even like our college episode, it wasn't necessarily like crazy planned or like crazy outfit, but it was like, we'll wear Fredonia stuff. So this episode was kind of hard to figure out. Also, like backgrounds and stuff, we've been trying to like just get better, be best, really. With that being said, we do have a lot of topics we want to cover and discuss, because there's a lot that goes into being a girl, being a woman.
We do. If you're a boy, don't watch this.
You're kicked out of this one.
I'm kidding, but we are like.
It's going to be very, very much like we're talking about what it's like being a girl. Yeah. Simple as that. And our experiences, like, obviously. The first thing
that I want to say today is that, like, I don't like my hair. I don't like the way that I look. I'm just like, upset today.
Okay. Julia's having an off day, I guess.
I had an off, guys. I went to TJ Maxx and it was a flop. Like, it was so disappointed, and like I've never been disappointed by
you
TJ
were
Maxx
in you were in the dressing room going, TJ Maxx has never disappointed me as much as it has today.
I was so upset, and I haven't recovered from that. And like it still is getting worse.
Yeah. That being said, like, I had a good day.
Screw you.
I'm sorry. Before we like actually jump into stuff, I do want to give like a big disclaimer. Like, this is our experiences with girlhood. We are girls. We are living our own lives. This is not everybody's experience being a girl. Shocker, I know. But that I feel like that I just wanted to put out there, just in case. You never know. Where do you want to start?
I don't know. Do you want me to tell you when? I'll
just pick one and then.
We'll tell me when to stop.
Stop. I'm kind of ready for any of them. I feel
misogyny experiences.
Oh God, this is a heavy one to start with.
I'm ready for any of them.
I'm ready for any of them. Okay.
Is this better? Hello.
Okay. I hate us. Before we jump into this. Yesterday, I was dropping you off at home, and we both said at the exact same moment, we did this twice yesterday, bye, see you later, and you literally were like, I'm sick of us, and just slammed the door.
Like, people who are friends with us, I don't know how
they put up with this, because it's literally one continuous thought.
Did you see my edit in the last episode?
Maybe.
Because we said okay at the same time. And zoomed super far into our face.
It's like so... Often at this point it doesn't faze me.
No, I'm just like, okay,
cool. No, it is what it is.
All right, girlfriend. What is your misogyny experience?
I have a lot. I have
so many.
I have so many. I've talked about this before. I don't actually know if this made it into the boys episode.
No, I don't think we did.
I worked in a male-dominated hardware store.
Most of my misogyny stories are also from when I worked in a male-dominated field.
Yeah. Which, like, not to completely hate on that place, because it also, honestly, never the people I worked with. It was always customers. It's customers. It's not people I worked with, really.
Wasn't.
I mean, not to, like, air out their dirty laundry, but, like, it's really not people I worked with. It's customers, and it's just, like, I've just had, like, crazy things said to me, or, like, I had this one guy who, he came in for spray paint once.
Mm-hmm.
And this isn't my worst one, by the way. This is just an example. He came in for spray paint, and I was like, oh, it's down aisle 6. And he saw my manager, like, walking in at the same time, and he asked my manager where the spray paint was. And then my manager was like, oh, it's down aisle 6. And I was like, what, you don't believe me? Like, I'm gonna lie to you? What would be, like, my, like, benefit?
Goal.
Yeah, to lie to you. Like, what? I don't know. It's just, like, a lot of little things like that, or, oh, we had, like, this was, like, years ago, but there was, like, a time when, like, one of the girls I worked with had to go in, like, the back when certain people came in, or, like,
Oh my God.
there's, like, it's just, like, a lot of little things like that, or, like, oh my God, it's so hilarious to me when men get so upset that their, like, rewards is in their wife's name. They're like, I don't know why her name is on there. She's never here.
Really?
Yeah. Or I'll have, like, sometimes I'll have a woman come in, and she'll be like, oh, like, I'm here, like, my husband needs me to get this, blah, blah, blah. And, like, sometimes I'll, if I, like, contest the waters, I'll be like, oh, like, why didn't he come get it? And she'll say something like, oh, because he's like, nah, and she'll, like, go off about it. So it's, like,
cute.
really funny. But, or, oh, I had, like, a guy in line once. It was, like, one of my first days working there. It was one of my first days where it was, like, crazy busy, and, like, there was something was wrong with my register, and I had to call up a manager, and the customer I was working with did not, he did not understand what I was trying to tell him. He was trying to give me measurements for lumber in inches.
Oh.
It's not how you order lumber.
Yeah.
But also, like, like, he wasn't giving me measurements where, like, I could even, like, convert those. Like, they weren't even, like, it was, like, so out of left field. And he, like, obviously the customer is getting mad at me, but this line is growing. And I have a guy, like, in, like, the back of the line. He's like, oh, new girl, she's slow today, huh? And I was like, I'm gonna leave, actually. Like, I don't know how I didn't quit on the spot. There have been so much, or, like, I know how to mix paint. And, listen, some lore. We don't, like, girls don't really work on the floor. You work in the register and the guys work in the back. But that's really more of, like, a knowledge thing. Like, I don't know anything about chainsaws.
Yeah.
You don't want to be buying a chainsaw from me, okay? But, like, I, like, learned how to mix paint, and the one time there was a paint call, and I was like, oh, I'll go get it, like, whatever. And it's also, like, it's a machine. It does all the work for you. Like, duh. And this guy, I, like, walk up and he looks at me, and he's like, oh, you? And I was like, yeah, me. Like, what? Or I've had customers, like, say I have an attitude problem, or, like, it's basic, like, retail experience, but it's so much worse because it's, like, a male-dominated thing. Like, I had experiences like that at Tops, like, a grocery store I was working at, but, like, not to that extent. I feel like, I don't know.
Mine,
yours are, I feel like, are way worse, and, like, way worse on, like, a intellectual kind of level, whereas like mine is like stuff I've gotten past pretty quickly.
Yours is more like what's the word? First impressions.
Yeah.
Mine are, like, deep rooted in, like, who I was.
Yeah.
So, like, at this point, we all know that I worked for a baseball stadium, and I was an intern there under, like, the promotion and marketing department. And I was in community college at the time, and, like, I just kind of, like, got this internship because of a family friend, and did I know anything about baseball? No, but like my position there was like
Sometimes your
I had
position
like a
isn't
very
to know.
I had a very important position. I was running a nonprofit foundation pretty much by myself.
That's crazy.
So I was in charge of like pretty much making all of the money for that foundation. I was like a project manager. I ran like multiple charity events by myself. And I also was basically like the personal assistant to the vice president, which that's where my misogyny comes in
No.
because there was no reason why I should have been a personal assistant to someone.
Yeah.
But we had this thing called the inner circle, and I was a part of that, and it was like there was actually I worked with like a good amount of girls, but like it was the guys, and the guys were very much like in charge, but I was in charge of those guys who thought they were in charge. You know, like I was like very quickly put into this position of power. Not like over the other interns, but like I was in charge of like making sure that they were showing up, and I was in charge of telling them what to do during these events and like kind of like managing them. So like that was a lot, and like people really didn't take me seriously in that position, but I one because I believe it was because I was a girl, but I was also 19 and I was working with like 24 or 25-year-olds who like I was in charge of them, and they were like
Bitter
they had
about
just
that.
graduated college, and I was like, "Oh, I'm just here
Yeah.
because but the biggest things that I faced was like in this like personal assistantship with the vice president, where like I was the person who was expected to clean the office and make sure it was nice and organize the fridge and organize the snacks, and
I know what you mean.
he had like a desk that was full of like little knickknacks, and every week it was my job. I had to take pictures of where everything was placed. I had to take everything off the desk. I had to dust and clean the desk and put everything back exactly where it was, or else I would get a talking to. Was that a part of my job description? No, not at all. And like I was just excited to do that. No one else was. Like I was just kind of like picked. And like all of the internships, like yes, I was put in charge of them, but we were all like on the same level. Like none of us were getting paid more. None of us were earning more credits. Like we were all like on an equal playing field, but I was also the person who was picked to go out and get everyone lunch every day. And like my like boss, there was a time where it was like thundering, and like it was a really bad storm, and the game was getting rain delayed, but like we had a feeling that it was gonna get canceled. He was like, I need you to go drive to Walmart, which was like 15 minutes away. He's like, I need you to go drive to Walmart and get me a bottle of Tylenol. And everyone was just kind of like, it's like dangerously storming outside. Like she can't drive, and they're like, oh well, I'll send one of the boys to go with her to do it.
As if that's gonna like make the storm
I
go
went,
away.
I came back, and the game was canceled, and we all got to go home. But I think the worst thing that happened was like there was a time where my boss asked me to go get his groceries for him, and I went and I did that. And when I got back, he asked me to like put all of his groceries in a laundry bin. So me not also thinking like I have all these other things that I need to do for the actual job that I'm here to do. But he was like, "Can you put my groceries in these laundry bins?" And I was like, "Okay." So I just put the groceries that were in the bags
in the laundry bin.
He ripped me apart. He like I had to go into his office. The door was closed. He like it was like serious, and he was like, "Why did you think that was okay?" And I was just like, "What?" And he's like, "You just put the bags of groceries in there, and you did it like messily." And I was like, "Well, what did you want me to do?" And he's like, "You were supposed to take all my groceries out of the plastic bags and organize them nicely in the laundry baskets." And he's like, "I just feel like you're kind of like losing your sparkle for the job, and you're not like putting in as much effort as you used to." And like this was like a reoccurring thing where like I would become so burnt out that I wouldn't like, because this was a summer internship, and I went into the fall. And like I would be so burnt out that I would like stop like kind of like doing my responsibilities, and like he would have to like talk to me and be like, "Dude, like you're not doing this, you're not doing that." Meanwhile, like it wasn't like I was, but like not to the extent that I was before, because I was so burnt out. And he was like, "You're like you just seem like you don't care anymore, like blah blah blah." And I left that meeting. I went into one of our storage sheds. I bawled my eyes out. Went and I was like, I actually need to put in my 2 weeks. And
Mhm.
he was so upset. Like, he took it so
Oh my
personally.
God.
But, like, he was so mad at me about something that had nothing to do with the job that I was there for.
Your
and,
actual,
like,
like,
yeah.
duty, your
Yeah.
actual, like...
It was, like, devastating because that job, like, also meant so much to me at the
Right.
time. There was a point where the guys that I worked with and were on the same, like, level as me,
Mhm.
and I was still, like, their jobs were different branches of my job, but my job of, like, this foundation was, like, so much more. But, like, they got hired to do these jobs,
Mhm.
and, like,
You-
and I didn't, and
Mhm.
for no reason besides
They were guys.
they were guys.
Guys.
Like,
It's so eye-opening. Like, you know that this happens, like, at least in my
mhm.
case. Like, I grew up, like, my mom was, like, very much, like, this is what's going to happen. Like,
Yep.
this is, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is, like, it just is what it is. Like,
Yeah. I remember, like, being a kid and asking my dad, like, why don't, like, women get paid as much as men? And
Mhm.
he was like, I don't know.
yeah.
Like, he wasn't trying to, like, sugarcoat it for me or anything.
Right.
He was just like, I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know.
a good way of putting it. Like, nothing was ever sugar-coated.
Mhm.
So, like, I knew that, like, going into, like, my jobs and stuff. But, like, it's just, like, completely different when you're 14, 15,
Yeah.
getting hit on or, like, looked at quite
Mhm.
literally like a piece of meat
I remember,
by, like,
there's
50, 60-year-old men. Like, there have been times where, like, not recently, but there have been times where, like really old men will, like, ask about my personal life, or, like,
Mhm.
there were times where I know, like, it didn't happen to me, but, like, I've had coworkers who, um like, our managers, like, had to, like, stand outside and, like, wait for them to leave because, like, there would be, like, customers who, like, stayed after closing
That's
and, like, stuff like
crazy.
that. Like, it's not, I don't know, you just, like, you hear about it, I
Yeah.
guess, and then, like, living it is, like, two different things.
Or even recently, this happened to both of us
Oh,
and
yeah.
many people who are a part of our TV station.
Right.
So we go and we remote broadcast hockey games, and it was
Yay.
the last.
Mhm.
It was the last game of the season, or second to
No,
last.
it was Pink the Rink.
Oh yes,
No, it wasn't. It was the last game of the season.
yeah.
I would have remembered if it was Pink the Rink.
And there was this older gentleman there who was, like,
Oh, God.
very inebriated. Like,
Yeah.
you could smell it, like, the alcohol
Yeah.
on his breath. And, like, Anna and I were at the director's table, and, like, he was by two of our camera girls, and
Mhm.
I noticed that he was, like putting his hands on them, like, to, like, touching them and stuff, and I was like, this,
Mhm.
like,
It
I just
just-
couldn't tell. So I, like, made eye contact. I think it was with, like, Dana, and I was like, are you guys okay? And Dana was like, I'm just trying to, like, protect Jenna. And I was like,
Oh, God.
I don't like this. So
Yeah.
then I walked over there and I was like, Jenna, are you okay? She's like, well, he's just, like, kind of bothering us. Like,
Also,
like,
like,
literally, we're there to do a job.
we're there to do a job, and he was, like, preventing her from, like, doing this job well and doing it to the best that she can, and
Yes.
what, like,
He
we know
was, like,
she can do. Do you know
continuously
what I mean?
talking to them, continuously, like, touching them.
And just, like,
and-
being an overall disturbance.
Yeah, he
really.
was yelling. Like,
Yeah.
he was trying to, like, get on the camera.
He was like, bang, like, at one point he was, like, banging on the glass so hard, like, you couldn't even hear the announcers.
Yes.
And, like,
Um,
it was just disruptive.
So I was like, I'm gonna go protect my people, and I walked
Right.
over there and I put myself, like, in between them, and then he starts, like, talking to me, and, like, I obviously had an attitude because I didn't like this man, like, touching my friends.
Yeah.
Instantly started, like, touching me, like, putting his arm
Yeah.
around my shoulder, like talking to me in my face, like, right here, like, could smell every drink that he's drank. And he was like, I can tell you don't like me.
Right.
And I was like, no, sir, like, I'm just, like, here to see what I'm checking on my crew. And he's like, I can tell, like, you don't want me to be here.
It's, like, kind of.
And I was like, well, like, my crew does have a job to do,
Right.
and you're distracting them.
Yeah.
And he was like, whatever. And continued to just be a bother there.
Yeah.
And, like, at that point, he was bothering me and not bothering, like, Jenna on the camera. But he was still, like, this man, like, drunk man who was, like, all over us. And then I think, like, it was, like, intermission, and, like, Brent walked over there and he was like talking to Brent, and then he just like wouldn't leave us alone. Eventually, then he went to the guys who were doing play by play, which if you don't know, it's like the people who like talk on the microphone.
Yeah, and they're like on the broadcast
Yeah.
being like, pass the puck, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Like,
and
that's
I
what
like
they do.
said to them, I was like, guys, just so you know, like this guy was really drunk and he was bothering the girls
Yeah.
over there. So like if you have a problem, I will
Also,
step
like
in.
he like not only was this like a bother to you guys and like Jenna and like everybody, but it's really hard to like do your job, like everybody, because we're all wearing headsets, we can all hear what's going on. Like it's not, and it's like also it gets to a point where it's like this isn't fun, and like that's our club, like we're supposed to have fun, and like it was just really frustrating. Yeah, scary
like,
too.
Like scary.
It's scary because it's like we're not being paid to do this.
He's already like aggressive because of the game that was being played. And, like our team wasn't doing well, and he was getting aggressive about that.
Also, college hockey, like he did not need to get that heated about it, but whatever, he was.
Yeah. So then he like was talking to me again, and he was like saying like really nasty stuff about like our sports director, and he was like asking me how he can talk on the microphone because he wanted to like tell people the truth about like our sports department, and just like being very aggressive and like negative.
Yeah.
And then he went up to the guys who were doing play by play, and he was talking to them and wouldn't leave them alone, and they like turned back to me. They were like, what are we supposed to do?
Yeah.
Like we are live, we're talking on the microphones, he's like trying to talk in the microphone. So I tapped him on the shoulder and I was like, sir, can you please like step away?
This is a
like,
live broadcast.
These are my crew members, like I need them to do the job that they're here for. And he's like, well, like you just have like an attitude. I was like, sir, like I'm here for a job.
Right.
And then he like went and stood by them again, and then he came back over to me, and I was like, I am so scared of this man.
Yeah.
And he was like, can I stand there, or do you need me to like move? And I was like, it would be best if you like removed yourself from the situation.
Right.
Like I made sure I was like super professional. Like
you handled it very well.
And finally he left.
Right.
And then the man who like we work with directly to broadcast the sports, he came and like Brent started telling him what happened, and he immediately called the cops. We were like, no, like he left us alone. Like he didn't come back. He's like, I'm calling the cops. I don't care.
Like, which also like all of this experience was crazy eye-opening at the fact that we have a police department on campus, and not a single one of them are ever at the games or like at public events. Like they're never kind of just like wandering around. Which I don't know if that's necessarily their jobs, but also they are they're police for the. I just felt like I guess it just made me realize like how kind of unprotected we are, like as a club, and
especially
as like
because like at sport games people get riled up.
It's loud.
Like,
you can't communicate with your crew very well, like all the time. It's like it's a completely different environment than broadcasting here. And broadcasting like in the studio, because you know like it's just different, and you have to prepare for it differently.
And it's different too because like a lot of like if we're not broadcasting a sports game, we're broadcasting like a campus event that's only open to people on the campus. Where
sports games are open to the community. And that is like it's completely different. And that was just like, I don't know, that was a really frustrating experience for myself included, because it was just like I couldn't do anything because I was managing everything else, and I was like,
and I was more like I need to get this guy away from like, my
it
friends
was
who
just
are
like
uncomfortable.
And that was just that was pretty bad. I forgot. I
didn't
honestly
think I was gonna
blocked
end
that
day with having to give a
police report. I know that
was not on my bucket list.
For Fredonia. At all. But that's just like I don't know. That's just like one of the instances. I feel like it's just, I don't know if you've found this. At least I have. But a lot of the times, like because I think TV, especially like sports broadcasting or just like film in general, and the entertainment industry really is male dominated. So when I tell people like I want to do this for a living, they're like, oh, really? Well, first off, already it's a hard industry to get into, but also it's like male dominated, and I think a lot of people, even at school, even here, like don't really take me seriously. Not all the time. It's not reoccurring.
I
But
had just become general manager, and I think it was for Rock in the Commons, and I don't remember who was with me. One of the boys was with me. I don't remember who, but someone went up to them and like was asking them like, "Oh, like about the GM," and I was like, "No, I'm the GM.
yeah.
Like, he's not it.
Yeah.
The GM. I am.
Yeah.
Like,
I've experienced that. Like remote broadcasting. There was like a couple hockey games where like people would talk to
Brent.
Well, Brent or he looks like he knows what he's doing, but also like the announcers before they come to me. Which is interesting because I'm the one standing there being like cut to this camera. When you're looking, especially like if you don't know, I guess like it could be hard, but if you're looking at like a table and like cameras around you and somebody is standing and wearing a headset, obviously speaking into it and giving people directions, like they're obviously the person in charge.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of context clues, but it's just like they go through the guys before they go to you, and it's just really weird and it's not really degrading, but it's just like strange. It's just be like, what?
And I think it's really important to like talk about this. Like, I think it's really important to talk about examples because I feel like there's this like kind of like fog around like, oh, well, of course like every woman has dealt with like sexism and misogyny, but I think that people don't take it seriously until they hear the examples.
Yeah, it's like when we told Justin that, he was like, I've never seen that up close. I've never experienced that up close.
It's like,
and to me, like that is like a normal occurrence in my life. I think
that it just helps people understand like the realness of it, and it kind of like takes that fog away from like like of course they like deal with like mean people, but it's like no, like this is what we deal with.
And it's like there's so much stuff I feel like that's happened where like this happens all the time. I'll be telling a story where I'm telling that story and somebody will be like, that's insane, and I'm like, it's literally like it's never
it happened.
It happened, like it is what it, like it's not something that even like I think about even anymore. That's why I don't even have like a lot of concrete examples from like where I work, because it's just like
it flies right over.
over my head at this point.
If I really sat down and like thought about like when I worked at the baseball stadium specifically, like I'm sure I could come up with 1,000 examples, but it's just like even that too. It's not, also want to say that it's not always just men. I don't know if you've had that happen, but I'll have specifically like women in like older generations will not take me seriously, or will not like, or this kind of blends into another topic, but like a lot of the women in my like distant family are so shocked that I put my career and my education before almost everything in my life. Wow, that's crazy.
It's like, it's really shocking to me that is like, I don't know. It like also it makes me like, I know people joke about it online that like, oh, like don't like, if I could go back in time and tell the women like who are fighting for our rights to like I don't want to work, like, you know what I mean, like to like not do that, it like makes me upset, because I'm like, there'll be times where I'm like, I don't want to go to class, I don't want to go to work, I don't want to do this. It's like, girl, not that long ago you couldn't even open a credit card. You couldn't even have a bank account. You couldn't even like do so much, and it makes me like, it motivates me to like do those things and like be, I don't know, be better. But it also like conflicts with the idea of like, maybe I want to be a mom. Maybe I want to have that like traditional,
I think that is
like traditional path.
I think like,
it's so,
you know, the trend of like things that are like people's Roman Empire. I think for every girl at some point in their life, like that's the Roman Empire for at least like 5 years.
Do you know that it's a TikTok audio, but it's from a Sylvia Plath book, I think. It's like, I found myself like the fig tree, like growing out in all these different ways, and on one side there was like motherhood, and on another I could do this or I could do this, and I feel like it's like I I try, and people say this all the time. They're like, you're gonna overwork yourself, you're gonna burn yourself out, you're gonna blah blah blah. I'm like, yeah, maybe, but like I'm doing this because my grandmother couldn't.
Yeah.
My great grandmother couldn't. My mom
Yeah,
couldn't do the
because
things
for, like,
I can do.
For me, I am the first generation college
Yeah.
graduate, soon to be graduate
Yeah.
in my family.
That's
Whereas like that's like crazy to me. And like my mom didn't want to, and like my
Right.
grandma had her like plans with her life, and like I don't think it's
Right.
anything that they feel like they missed out on because they made
Right.
those decisions.
Yeah.
But like at one point they couldn't.
They couldn't.
You
And
know?
I think it's like so, I don't know. It's so important to me that like I do all of that because for a very long time we couldn't. And like I feel like I need to like make it's weird, but I feel like I need to like make up that time. It wasn't my life, but
Yeah,
it was
that's
somebody
cool.
else's, and I feel like I have to do it because like somebody down my lineage would have
Yeah.
and would have wanted
And they
to, and they couldn't. It's like really strange to me. It's like very, I don't know. Like I can
No,
like
I
I
get it.
just
And I think like the topic of like motherhood versus career is so
huge.
hard. It's so hard to
Yeah.
like to even like understand it, to talk about, and like
Mhm.
understand your own feelings about it. Like
Oh,
cuz like I could
don't
sit
even
here and
know.
talk about it, and like next week I could have like
A
a
completely different opinion.
Yeah, and especially like for me as someone who like is graduating college, is about to like start my life, but also like um grateful enough to like have a partner and like
Yeah.
start like life planning with my boyfriend. It's like
Mhm.
I have to like start making decisions about those kinds of things,
Yeah.
and like it's horrifying. It's like
Yeah.
genuinely so scary because I feel like we're taught that like it's one or the other. And of course there are so many ways that like you can do both, but there's never a way to do both where you're getting the same thing out of each of those ideas with doing just one of them.
Yeah. And it's like so, my mom says it all the time, but she was a single mom. She raised me, I mean, not only on her own, but like for the most part, my mom was raising me on her own. And like there's so much, she's like, I didn't hold you enough as a baby. Like I didn't like little things like that like she'll say it just like out of the blue or just like in passing, and it changes like my whole
Yeah.
thinking. Like it's like something so small, and I'm like, it like actually that just ruined my day. Like it's like so, you know what I mean? It's like little things like that. It's just like so weird to me, and it's like so strange. Like you have to sacrifice so much for one or the other, and it's like I don't want to like put my life on hold for somebody else.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really hard thing to come to terms with about yourself, but also try to explain to somebody else.
Because either way, like you are going to be judged.
Yes.
Either decision that you make, like you're going to be judged if you decide to be a stay-at-home mom and not fulfill like your duties and your goals and your dreams. And if you do stay home, like to be a stay-at-home, if you don't choose,
I know what you
thank
mean.
you, thank you. It's like why, like just like why?
It's just like, and it's like none of these decisions like I have to make in this moment. I've got time.
That's something that I've been trying to like say to myself. Like you are
not,
young and you have a whole life, and like
you have time.
like just I keep like telling myself, because I'm not like a very religious person, but I'm also not like a very
not
like spiritual person, but I'm like, it will just work out. Like whatever happens will happen, and like I am done making decisions for myself.
How
like I just need the universe to make decisions for me at this point, because
I'm like, so this is like kind of on the topic but also kind of not. I've like never really had any sort of like romantic experiences whatsoever. Which is not like a bad thing.
No,
I'm 19. I'm young. Like, who cares?
My first and only boyfriend I received.
Received. He fell from the sky.
He did. I like got into that relationship when I was 22 years old.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like not like I have so much time, but I have not a lot. I have a few friends, a couple friends who I feel like they know exactly what they want from all of that. And
yeah.
it's like very like I don't even know what I'm going to eat for dinner. Like I don't, you know what I mean? Like I don't even know. And I say that cuz like I've at least like my internet side is very much like women who are in the same boat as me or in older, like older or younger, who are like I've never had a romantic blah blah blah, like whatever. And who are like I feel so behind. I feel so behind in life. I feel so like out of touch.
I think that like I don't know because I feel just as behind. Like but I think it's more like because I'm older and I'm just graduating college now, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like
I just don't think that ever goes away.
I came to the realization the other day, like my aunt was married and she was my age.
Grandma had like
not a bad thing at all.
By this time in her life, she had 5 kids.
Like
or maybe more.
Not a bad thing at all. It's just like to put it in perspective like that, like I can't even imagine myself in a position where like I could get married now or like 3 years down the road.
But if that's something that you don't want, like then you don't have to. Like
right.
I think that I'm like a very firm believer in like if it happens, it happens. Like when like Christian and I started dating, it wasn't like I was like looking for a partner, like looking like going on dates or something. Like we became friends and we got super close and like we realized that like we both like cared about each other a lot and like we started dating. You know, like
it's like not as complicated, I think, as like it seems, but also like dating culture within like my generation, like our generation is so strange and like so weird and no other generation has had to like I don't know, wait for a snap back before like do you know what I mean? Like it's like so stupid. Like nobody has had to like sit there and swipe.
When I was in your position, like I was just so like an insane overthinker. So like you're not like
I'm not behind. I'm not alone, and I like constantly have to like remind myself that every day. But it's also just like really. I was saying this to you a couple months ago. I think. I don't know. Yes, because we were getting McDonald's. Anyways, that's not the point. I was saying to you how like I feel like, especially at the station, everybody has like a person, an extra someone.
Yeah.
And I am very much like not. I don't really have that. I don't have like I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Or like not even just the station, but just like in college in general. I feel like everybody has like
not a partner in like romantic way, but like a sidekick.
Even but also mostly in a romantic way. And it's like in a weird way, I'm surrounded by my friends. And yet I feel like the loneliest person in the room.
I think it's just like the time in your life because I feel like when I was 19 I felt the same way.
I really don't think it's like, and I said this to you when I talked about it, like it's not my friends, it's not like it's not the people I'm with, it's like it's just all like in my head and then I overthink it.
Because like I think I still feel that way like at the station, like if you're not there, I just like I don't know
what to do myself.
I don't
what
know
to do
who
with
to
myself.
Go to.
I don't know.
Just like walk in circles. I try to make myself busy, and like it's in my head because I know any person at the station is like everyone at the station is such like a lovely person and would love to like just like I would love to have a conversation with, and I know it's in my head. But like I like
it's just like you know what I mean. It's just like so weird, and I also think that's just like college too, because I've like talked with my friends at other colleges and they're like, no, like we feel the same way. I'm like, oh, okay. So it's like it's not a me thing. It's not like I'm not losing my marbles. Like it is what it is. What the hell was that?
Okay.
All right, you ready? Okay. Moving on, kind of. it doesn't really segue, but it kind of does in a weird way. Anger. Girl anger. Female anger.
Girl anger
specifically.
is so
Woman
different
anger.
from guy anger. Like,
so different. It's so quiet and unsettling is the word I'm gonna use.
yeah.
It's completely different, and it's very, I don't know. For me, like I spent so many years being angry.
Well, here's
I still do
yeah.
sometimes.
For me, I think I am someone who I'm not a very angry person. I
Mm.
think
Mm-mm.
I was
I
never
am.
taught how to be angry because growing up, like, my parents were very angry.
Mm.
So it was something that, like, I didn't want.
That's I took the opposite way. I took
And I think now, this, like, weird time in my life, I'm really, like, falling into my anger. And, like, I go to my therapist, I'm like, I don't know how to be angry. Like, I don't know, like, what to do.
I know how to be angry in the unhealthy way.
I've gotten better at it.
And that
Not
really
in not a good way.
It gets me nowhere.
Mm.
Actually, it's so I'm like learning how to deal with it better, and I would say I've gotten better.
Mhm.
But I think it's so. Listen, being a teenage girl,
It's
like,
so hard.
It's so hard, and everybody's like, I don't know, like you try to say that sentence to like a guy, and they don't take you seriously. They don't like nothing. They just think you're like crazy, and it's like you don't get it because you're waking up and you're realizing everything about the world, and everything was made and created for guys, and you're angry about that all the time, but there's nothing you can do, and it's so frustrating, and you can't. You have to learn to live with it. And it's like so.
Christian said something
I
to
don't
me
know.
the other day because you brought that up the other day.
I did?
Yes. Well, it was like more in like a joking matter, and he said like you said that, and he like looked at us and he was like, "Well, burn it down."
Oh yeah.
And I was like, "Okay."
Like, okay. And I guess like the only thing I can like think to compare that to would be like other forms of, what is the word I'm looking for? Oppression? That's the word I'm looking for.
Okay.
I guess like other forms of oppression like
Yeah.
would be similar. Like being a different race, you know,
Yeah,
stuff like
yeah.
that. That would be like similar, but like learning how to manage that and like how to deal with that in like a, I don't know, just a day-to-day basis is like so difficult. Like for me, at least, like I spent so much time being angry. So much time, and it's so, it's like wasteful in a weird, anger can be really productive.
Yeah, I think for me right now it's in a very productive state.
Yeah.
Because like I kind of do like I do something about it, if
Right.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Which has taken the people that I'm angry at aback because they're not used to me being angry.
Right.
It's which is like people talk about online like when people pleasers stop being people pleasers and the people in their life like are like
shocked.
Yeah.
It's that all I think like people pleasing, both of us are pretty like, and mirror balls, I've never been a natural, all that.
I do is
try all that. That also like plays into it, and like being angry, I think it's just like like a special, and they can like feel it specifically, and like when like those moments of like misogyny happen, it's just like you feel it like rage up and you just want to scream, and it's just like I don't even know like how to put it into words. Like it's like something like that will happen, or somebody will say something to me, and it's like I hear every single like woman who has ever been in my life like scream. Yeah. And like it's like a completely different, I don't even know like how to put it into words. It's like women's generations, like I can feel it. Like I can feel like their souls, you are born. There's a quote from Fleabag, and the quote is like, I've never actually seen it, but I've only seen like parts of it.
Shut up. We have to watch it together.
Okay.
I love it.
We can do that.
Okay.
And the quote is like, women are born with pain built in.
Yep. Oops. Sorry.
And it's okay. And I think about that all the time, and I also think like not only pain, but women are born with anger built in.
Yeah.
And it's
It's
like it
women
like
are
festers.
Men create pain for themselves
Mhm.
to feel something, but women are born with pain.
Yeah.
In them. That's the quote.
Oh yeah. And it's like, I don't know.
I just wish that every person on earth could just hear that, but like hear it and like understand what that means.
And you can't really put it into. It's like when people talk about different other types of depression, like you can't necessarily put yourself in. Yeah,
to it.
there's nothing comparable. So it's like hard to like say that, but I don't know. Most of our audience is female, anyways, so it's fine. But it's just like, I don't know. I just think about like all the time I wasted and all like the energy I wasted being angry, and it's like
I think I do that with like sadness. Like I was just so sad for so long, and like sitting here now, like I will think about those times and like you just wasted so much time being sad. But then I'm like, why are you being mean to her? Like, why are you being mean to the girl who literally could not get up and live? Like, why would you be mean to her? Like, like you still struggle now when you're being mean to her.
Right.
That version of yourself. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I'm a completely different person.
You need to work on that.
Yeah. Oh.
Because like
there's a lot of things I need to work on.
There's no such thing as wasting time feeling any type of emotion.
Right.
You know, for me, I like my therapist when I was like very depressed. She was like, "What is sadness?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "Sadness is repressed anger.
Yeah.
Like you're too scared to be angry, so you're just sad." And that like rocked my world when she told me that, because I was like, you're right. Like, yes, I'm sad, but I am so angry that I can't even talk about it.
I can't even face it.
Yeah.
It's like, ugh.
Yeah.
And the best. Oh, also, this is just a side note. 2 of my favorite songs, and were top like songs for me for like the past 2 years, because I said, I was angry for a very long time. Are Labor by Paris Paloma and King by Florence and the Machine. And I feel both of those songs to my like core, like who I am.
Can we bring up, this is off topic, but it's not. If I Were a Man. Like, yes, the song by Taylor Swift, lovely. But just that like theory of like, if I was a man, oh my god,
I would be the man. I feel
just,
that
in my soul.
Yes.
I feel it.
I know it.
Like, just like me at the station, me being general manager, me being like a producer of the show. Like, if I was a guy here, like, and not saying that I'm treated any certain way because of I'm a girl at the station. Like, no one treats me, but like, things just would be different, easier. It's. I just feel like I said this the other day. And like, I don't know if that's naive, because I don't know if that's minimizing like experiences of like men, but like I just feel like I would be like happier.
I know what you mean. There are just like things in my life I think about, and I'm like, this would be easier for me if I was a man. Like, this would just, or it's like as simple as like walking into a room. It's like that, like people, the energy changes, the people take you seriously, people look at you differently. Like, it's just different. And it's just like, it's something I have to live with, I guess, but it's not never going to bother me. It's not never going to be something that I don't notice, and be something I don't pick up on.
The idea of motherhood, that's like could be a whole other episode.
That's a whole other
series.
Yeah. Like, we could do a whole series on just this.
But like, I will like see Instagram reels of like people, like this woman was talking about, like she like did all these things to like take care of her children that day, and her husband came home from work, and they went out to the park.
I feel like I know exactly what.
And at the park, like some elderly like woman went up to her husband and was like, "You're such a good dad, because you're here at the park with your children." And like that like mother was like, of course he's a good dad because he's here at the park with the children, but like I'm
here too.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
I could
It's-
not. I think I would wither away if
Yeah.
that happened to me. It's so much to think about, and like it's just like ingrained. Like as a girl, like it's just
You have to,
ingrained into who you are. Like
yeah. There's so much you have to unlearn.
blessed be the man who doesn't have to consider any of these things.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Like it's like so much of like you have to unlearn so much that like it's not even I was taught this. It's
Mhm.
not even like I was presented this
It's
at
just like
home.
you know.
It's just and you feel it from society around you,
Mhm.
and there's so much you have to sort of like dismantle.
Yeah.
And like it also back to the whole like if I was a man, I'd be the man. It's like it like that song is like so simple in a way.
Yes. I
It's
agree.
so simple in a way, but it's also like yeah, duh. Like you think about it and you're like, "Oh, yeah."
Mhm.
People would take me seriously.
Mhm.
People would like look at me different. People would
They would think that I was funnier than
They
I
would
am.
think
They
I was
would think that I
smarter.
was cooler. They would think I was smarter. They
Yeah.
would think I was more creative.
They would give me more opportunities. They would like you do
Mhm.
not it's like so much is just like
Yeah.
there. And it's like I don't know, I feel like I don't this is like minimizing men's experiences, but I feel like there's so
Yeah,
much
and
like
that's something that like we're not trying to do at all. Like
No.
we are obviously like spotlighting on like women's
Women's
experiences. Like
experiences.
we're not getting into like men's and saying
we
that,
don't
like,
have time for that.
no.
Like no, not a lot of people have time for that. But it's like so like I just feel like there's so much more at your grasp.
Mhm.
Whereas like I remember one day I was talking to Zoe. We were at work and I was like, no, like we have to like if we want to like do this, if we want to stay this, like whatever, we have to work harder. We have to work quicker. And like it was just I don't know. It's just like translating into everything I do, which like obviously, but like I don't know. It's just frustrating because it's like
It is.
I'm doing the same thing. We're on the same playing field and like you're getting more recognition for it than I do.
Well, even like at
Not
my
even that.
at
Like
my sister's work, she works as a horse wrangler.
yeah,
And they won't let any girls who work there drive the tractor.
crazy.
Like,
What?
how is that? First of all, how is that allowed?
Yeah.
Like, they're not allowed to work in the barn and like be barn people. Like, they're not allowed to like shovel or or things
yeah.
like that. And they're not allowed to drive the tractors because they are women.
Yeah.
Like, genuinely, like that's
Yeah.
what like it is.
No,
They
yeah.
tell the employees
Yeah.
that. How is that allowed?
It's like, huh? Like there's just so much where I'm like, I can't believe put up with it.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
I can't believe that happens to me. I can't believe like that is like something that still happens today.
Yeah.
But like of course it is. Of course.
Yeah,
like,
literally, of course.
Of course it is. Like duh. I also really want to touch on really fast the Barbie movie. I feel like it's important. You haven't seen the Barbie.
I never watched it.
Oh.
I have not watched it.
Well, there's this whole monologue that America Ferrera has. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. But she did a fantastic job, and I love her lots and lots and lots. And she has this whole monologue about like being a woman is so many different things, and you have to be everything at once and all of the time. And like I feel like at this moment in my life, and I've only lived 19 years, keep that in mind, it's like never been more true.
I think I'm just scared to watch the Barbie movie. I think it's just going to wreck me emotionally. I'm not going to recover from
I think it, in my experience, like
but you
literally
know me,
like the
I
year.
Get so emotional.
Yeah. Like the year leading up to the Barbie movie, I said this already. I spent angry. I was already angry. And then when that came out, it was like so validating for me and like like a breath of fresh air to see other women and other people, not even just women, get angry and like realize that was like what things are like. I remember like talking to like guy friends and like guys I know about the Barbie movie when it first came out, and they would say things. I'm like, you just proved the entire point. I was like, you just proved it. Like, my whole
Yeah.
point. My whole
It
argument.
feels like a step forward, but then it made you realize how far behind we are.
Yeah, like, the Barbie movie is, like, it's, like, I almost can't believe, like, how eye-opening it was for so many
Mhm.
people because it's such a small step.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a little, it's, like, dipping your toe in. Like, it's not even, like, brushing the surface. But that being said, like, I love the Barbie movie so much. Like,
Maybe I'll watch it tonight.
okay.
Probably not, though. I don't know
You
if I
don't-
can
I don't know if
emotionally
you'll have
invest
time.
in it. I just know I'm not gonna work. It's gonna take me some days. I gotta watch it on like a Friday so
Yeah.
I can have a weekend.
You can have a weekend to fully recuperate, rest and recover.
Yeah.
Right. Which also leads me into our final topic.
A positive note. I felt like, I don't know, I
What?
expected this episode to be very, like, not different, but, like, more positive. And, like, I think we
I didn't
really,
think it was.
really, I think,
I don't know.
I'm glad that we talked about what we talked about.
Yeah.
You know?
I think it just, like, for me, it's, like, putting it out all on the table, and then, like, you take what you take from it. You know what I mean?
And
Like,
hopefully our audience takes what they need.
it's, like, take from it. I don't know
But now
what that
we're
is.
on
But
a positive topic.
yeah, a positive topic that also goes hand in hand with what I was talking about earlier of, like,
Mhm.
I've never experienced this. I feel so behind, like that. Female friendships.
The most important thing
Ever.
ever.
I don't know. It's like it's not, but it is.
I like,
Ugh. You can go first because I feel like I have.
I feel like I can already,
Mhm.
I can already feel the tears in my eyes.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I just think that, like, I think I might have said this, like, in the last episode.
I don't know.
But, like,
I know.
when I am with my female friends, I just, like, have never felt more alive in my life. Like,
Yeah.
there's just something about being in a group of women who you admire, but, like, you know that they, like, admire you back, and, like, you respect each other, and, like, to understand your differences and your similarities, and, like, why you're all together. Like, there is just something so incredible about that, like,
Yeah.
I hope that every
Every
person
person gets to experience it in some way, shape, or form.
Mhm.
I value my female friendships so much. Like, I don't even think of them as friends. Like, they're my
It's just
family.
like, it's
They're-
always the answer.
Yeah.
You know what
Like,
I mean?
I have something going on. Text my friends.
Mhm.
Like, it's just so simple, but it's not. It's so, like, those are my
It's
girls.
like it brings me back down to earth, and I feel real again.
Yeah.
You know, and
It energizes me in a way that nothing else quite will.
yeah. And I think there's just something so spectacular about the way that women see each other
Yeah.
that is different from, like, how a man sees a woman or how men see men. Like, it's just, like, different
Yeah.
the way that, like, women see each other, and, like, it's something that, like, is irreplaceable to me.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I
It's-
really love the idea of, like, being seen and, like,
Yeah.
being thought of, and, like, I've never felt that more than in my
Understood.
female
Yeah. Then in my female relationships,
Mhm.
yeah. Like, and I feel like I know them so well, and I know them like I know me.
It's like literally the other day, like, it was yesterday, and,
Oh.
like, we, like, the girls at the station, like, we're not, like, extremely close with you
Right.
and I, but, like, they're our friends, and, like,
Friends, and
we were
they're-
at
yeah.
TJ Maxx, and we were, like, picking out sunglasses and naming which person at the station would wear
Wear
them, like,
them.
which girlie would.
Yeah.
And it's like, and, like, it was just was spot on, and it felt
Yeah.
so spot on, and it's just like, that's just, like, how we work. You
Yeah.
know?
And it's just so, like, I think of it this way,
Mhm.
which is why I was, like, saying how it connects. But, like, I don't know if I would ever feel as seen and understood and validated from a romantic relationship with a man than I am with the women in my life.
Yeah.
Like, as
I
simple
think
as that.
To combat that, it's like, for me, my romantic relationship was always just adding on.
Hmm.
Like, for me, it's, like, incomparable.
Mm.
And so
I in
like
my
never
head,
compare them. It's just like I have my female friendships,
right,
and then like my romantic relationship
is
just
something
adds
else.
on.
Yeah.
Yes, completely.
And like in my head, I've always thought of it. This is my own issue. I've always thought of it as an inconvenience.
Mm.
Like in every single, I'm like, this would just be like that. It would just like make my life harder. Like nothing about
that's
this
how
would
I
make
used to be
my
too.
life easier.
Mhm.
Which I like. I'm
Well,
coming
like,
to terms with the fact that like I think I'm okay with that.
for me, it's like it's not the same, but it's
No.
not. One isn't
Compare like
better than the other.
Yeah.
They're just so
Different.
Like what you get out of both of those
right.
types of relationships are so different.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. I've just never seen them
Yeah.
eye to eye.
I guess I just think of like I said, I think of it as like an inconvenience,
Mhm.
but also like I feel like my super super close friends, I feel so on the same playing ground and level, and I've never seen them as like competition or like
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? And
Mhm.
like I think for me like that is so important
Yeah.
and I value that so much, and I love that, and like I don't want I guess I think of it this way. I don't want any other relationship I would ever have to jeopardize that.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
And I think that like that only happens to women who
I
like
think-
let it.
Yeah.
Know?
I don't think I would ever get to a point where I would let that happen, but I just like I guess that's like an internal
Yeah.
fear and problem I have. But
Yeah.
like I don't know. I just value my friends so much, and I like would give them the world if I could.
Yeah. I remember meeting it was like maybe the like second or third time I've met one of like my best friend Elena's boyfriend.
Mhm.
And he was like, it's so crazy being with you guys because you guys are cut out of the same cloth.
Yeah.
Like you guys are just like on like
Yeah.
a different level. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, we are. And like
Mhm.
even like growing up, because like a lot of my female friendships are with women who like I have literally grown up with.
Yeah.
And like they like the people in our lives, like the adults, have always just been like, you guys are just like crazy.
Yeah.
Like there's something about like the group of you guys that are just like it's just meant to be. And
Yeah.
even like my relationship with my sister, like she is like, and yes, I love my best friend so much, but like nothing will ever compare to my relationship I have with her.
Yeah.
And it's like she is so a part of who I am and like my soul, and like I like don't know what I would do without her. And
Yeah.
like I will like say to the day I die, like there is no person on earth who knows me more than she does. Like there is no
Yeah.
person on earth who I am like more comfortable with
Yeah.
than her. And like she is just like such an irreplaceable person to me.
Yeah.
You know?
I definitely feel that with my sisters in a way, but they're also like very much younger than me, so I feel it in a different way.
Yeah.
But like I am so grateful for them, and I'm so grateful for all my friendships. So I guess I feel like sort of that sister thing with my friends
it's like
more.
I think she's my best friend, but like it's like a different level because we're sisters,
right.
like obviously.
And like I don't like being with them just makes me feel good.
Yeah.
Like I don't
Makes me
it just
so emotional. It's
it
like
makes
such
yeah.
like an emotional high. Like I remember like over break I was just kind of like having like a weird time, and I think I kind of go in these phases where like I don't really like feel like myself until I realize that I do. And there was a time like I went and had like a book date with my cousin Sydney, which today is her birthday, the day we're filming this. Happy birthday, girlfriend.
Happy birthday, Pookie.
But like we had a book date at Barnes and Noble, and we got dinner, and I called Christian on my way home, and I was like, I feel like myself again. And I was like, oh my god, like I don't know what kind of funk I was in. Like obviously like I was dealing with a lot of like personal stuff, but like that just like snapped me back, and I was like I felt like I was like high. I was like oh my gosh, I'm so happy.
I don't know how else to, like when my friends were here and we were like filming.
Yeah.
For me to like be able to like share this
with them.
is like so special to me, and like I know that they like
That's
got
like
that.
my epitome, because my friends live so far away.
Right.
You know, and
yeah.
like the times that they have been here, like I wasn't a part of the station,
Right.
and I wasn't like established at Fredonia
Right.
yet,
So
so
you
it was
weren't
different.
like ready to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I just like it's like so important to me, and I'm like so glad that I got to do that. But like just I'm like like okay, like I feel like me. I don't know, like it's just weird. It's just like different, and I definitely also like this is like weird to touch on this, but I guess kind of, but like my mom and my aunt and like the other women in my life, like I can get the same sort of. It's a different bond, it's a different sort of relationship, obviously, but like it's still different. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's still like part of like being a girl and like girlhood, and like the women in your life make such a difference.
Yeah.
Such a huge difference.
No matter like if the relationship is good, no matter if the relationship is bad, like
whatever
it just
is.
like any relationship with a woman, like growing up, like as an adult now, like changes your outlook and perspective on everything.
Everything. So I just want to like mention that real quick too, because I don't want to like
important.
leave my mom
They're
out.
important.
They're important. Duh. I love my friends.
Me too.
I mean, this is like
We love you guys.
We love you guys. We like watch it all the time, and like it just makes me miss my home friends.
Yeah.
They were just like I just saw like most of them the other week.
In so long.
Like I'm gonna see them in 3 weeks. What am I?
Yeah.
It's just like very much. I just like love them, or like not even just like the people who are really close to me, but like even people I'm not super close with.
Yeah.
Like
it's just like something about like being a girl and just like knowing that like someone else has gone through like similar experiences as you do, just like connects you instantly.
Yeah.
And it's just like, okay, like we're on the same level.
Right.
You know, like we can do this.
Like it's so weird. It's just like I don't know. It's just really like powerful to me, and it makes me like want to just like scream and cry in like a good way.
Yeah.
I just love it. All right.
I have a poem.
You have a poem?
I do. I took a picture
forgot about
of
your
it
poem.
earlier. Yeah.
Read your poem. Did you write this poem?
I did not.
Okay.
This is a quote by Toni Morrison. It was inspired by a park bench that had a memorial for a woman who wrote a memorial for her best friend on a park bench.
Oh, before you start.
Yes.
There is a short story. I don't know if you can still find it. I'm sure you can. I think it was put in the New York Times, perhaps. I'm not really sure. But it's called like The Cut.
I've never heard of it.
And it's very good. I can't remember who it's by right now. I'll put it in the description if I can find it. But it's like it's a very powerful short story for women.
Ooh.
I love it.
I'll look into it.
It's also really short. It's like an article long.
Oh.
It's like, but it's not an article. It's fiction.
Story.
But
all right, this is how we're ending.
Okay.
This is what we're doing before
I'm
our
ready.
ending segments.
I'm ready. I'm gonna cry.
Okay.
All right.
It doesn't have a title.
That's okay.
But it is written by Toni Morrison.
Okay.
We were girls together. Do you know how special that is? We talked online about falling in love, but that was really the love story. We were already in it. Being girls together with you was the greatest joy of my life. Anyone who has loved me after you has loved us. Girlhood is a part of the foundation of every version of me I've ever been and every version I will ever be. And so are you, because we were girls together. I love that so much.
I've seen like parts of that around.
It's so phenomenal. It's so like
we were a girl, like oh, like duh, like I don't know. It's just
like even like the like craziness of being a teenager and being in high school and like and like being an adult and being in college, like being a girl with other women
girls
and like growing up together and like going through what you go through together is like
special.
So special.
Special. I love being a girl.
Me too. It's hard and I love it.
It's hard and I love it. And
And I
sometimes
get
it
to
makes
do
me
my
want to
nails and I get to
rip my hair out, but like it also
but
is like
after
the
you
best
rip your
thing.
hair out, you put a bow in. And
You put
call
a
it
bow
day.
in and it's good. It's okay, and it's all right. It's actually was never that serious. You ever get home and you're like, wow, I just spent the whole day being so dramatic for no reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's girlhood.
It is.
Anyways,
I don't want to talk about our closing statements today.
oh no, we need to.
It's something we haven't done in quite a while.
It feels like quite a while.
It
It
feels
really
like
was
a really
long
long
time.
but
It
it
wasn't
hasn't
that
been.
long. Not for them. For us, it's been longer.
Yeah.
It's time.
You want me to get them?
Yes. Okay. You already know what time it is. It's time for the jar. It's time. This is my song about the jar.
Hit it, Anna. Sing.
Sing. It's time for the jar. Thank you. All right. I was doing so well until about 4 hours ago. And then
It was a silly day for Anna.
I was doing not so well. So for that, I think I only owe like 4 or 5.
You've been doing really good. And
I've
been
been
really proud
so
of you.
good lately, guys. Like I have been so good, and I feel like I just really need y'all to know that I have like really been cracking down on my thoughts in my head, and I've really been like really dealing with limerence and really kicking it. So I'm really
so proud of you.
Yeah. Thank you. I've just been doing way better than I thought I was going to, but you know that might all change.
No, it won't. You can do it.
I can do it.
I believe in you.
Yeah, it's gonna take some hard work.
You will.
I can do it. And for that, I'm only gonna put 4 in today, which is a low number for
you.
me.
Yeah.
Because I have been delusional about like other things, like school and stuff.
Yeah.
I've been delusional about a couple assignments, but other than that, I've been pretty good.
Yeah.
And
Here's the thing. There's just been something in the water or something.
we can't drink the water.
Yeah, Fredonia's on a boil order. Maybe that's why.
It's
I
the
think
water.
about a week ago I texted Anna that I owed 50, and then today I told Anna I owed 80.
I was like, but the thing is too is like usually I'll be like, oh, I owe this amount, and then like the camera shut off, and we'll like go and talk about it.
Yeah.
But she won't talk to me about it. She won't even look me in the eye and tell me what's going on in that editor.
I just can't. I don't know what's been going on. I think maybe it's just like I don't know. I don't know what's happening to me.
You're becoming me.
I won't tell you the topics. I won't tell you.
You won't tell me like even like the slight. You just be like, you'll text me at like 3 a.m. and be like, I owe more. And I'm like, what? I wake up and I check my phone. And I'm like, oh god.
There's also like a moment like between the time that we filmed last where I don't even know what we were talking about, but I said it out loud and you were like, that needs to go in the jar.
I was like, jar.
So I don't even know because like I'm not gonna put 80 tickets in the jar.
I would say. I'm trying
Should
to think.
you just tell me when to stop?
I feel like. wait! Like start at the beginning because like I like wasn't ready. I'm trying to think of the like most I've ever put in, and I don't know what it is.
Double it.
I think the most I've ever put in is like 15. I'm not kidding. But like when Justin was on, that all counts
that
for
added
me.
up a lot.
And that was like probably
Christian and I won that
15 tickets between the two of us, and like 10 of those were mine.
Okay.
So, do you really want?
I'll tell you to stop, and then, well, you tell me when to stop, and I'll tell you if I think that's accurate based off of the information I know.
Okay.
And I'll be honest.
Okay.
I'm not afraid to be honest.
All right, you can stop.
Like here or here?
There.
Here?
Yeah.
I think that's accurate.
Okay. I just think, I don't know. This is the most anybody has ever put in. I
I deserve it. I can't even talk about it. I can't even talk to you.
That's hilarious.
Like, I just talked about how much I love my sister and I would, like, die without her. I can't even talk to her. I just, like, something is weird.
Something is
about
happening to you, I guess.
I'm not even going to count these.
Mm.
I don't want to know.
I kind of do. Before you start ripping, please let me count. 1, 2. I just want to. I'll help you. I'll
Thank
put my
you.
4 in. Little cat.
The girlhood episode of all episodes for me to
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 22. Well, in true Taylor Swift fashion. Tortured Poets Department comes out tonight. That's when we're filming this. I can't wait. I'm so excited.
And it's it's her 22nd birthday. It's her Taylor Swift
It's
year.
her Taylor birthday.
22 is my favorite year.
Oh.
My favorite age.
I didn't meet you at 22.
Never mind. All right. Should we add in this random ticket that's just been... Oh!
It's an extra 4. She thought it was 1. I'm not putting them in there for you. That's your. What about that?
Where did this even come from? I'm over it. Bye, guys.
Well,
We're leaving.
guys, I'll
oh,
probably owe that much.
yeah. Well,
this
is thinking about my actions in silence. Anyway, you guys know the deal.
The episode.
Thanks for watching everything. Thanks for subscribing and commenting. We're gonna say thanks for liking and subscribing and commenting because you are gonna do it.
Yeah,
that's a threat.
That's a threat.
That's a threat, freaks.
That's a I love y'all. Yeah, and I'll see you in 2 Tuesdays.
Not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday after that. Thank you.
Bye, y'all. Everyone. Bye, guys. We're gonna go think about our actions.
Hello, more tickets.
The mailbox is full and cannot accept any messages at this time. Goodbye.